Meeting to order. If you're able, will you please stand as we take a moment of silence and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next on the agenda is patrons' concerns, and we have one person sign up. Is it Mrs. Leslie Jean?
Mrs. Jean. Yes.
Mrs. Jean, please.
And just as a reminder, public comments are limited to 3 minutes.
Right. You can go ahead and take that pass down.
Sure.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Jean, and I'm here regarding the removal of my son, Aiden Moore, the only senior in the Tecumseh basketball program removed this year as a senior. I want to be clear, I am not asking this board to choose players. I am asking you to look at how this decision was made, because the process used violated district policy and federal requirements. When I met with the head coach and the athletic director, I asked for documentation supporting this decision. They had none. I met with the superintendent and asked again, still none. When I followed up in writing, I was told the matter was closed, despite the fact no documentation has ever been provided to justify the removal of my own child. I was told that all coaches contributed to the decision. If that is true, then where's the record? Under federal student privacy law, any record directly related to a student maintained by a school employee, including evaluations, assessments, team placement decisions, or reasons for removal, must be treated as an education record. Under district policy, the school corporation is required to maintain accurate and complete student records, including any information recorded in any way that is directly related to a student. Yet in this case, the district produced no evaluations, no written concerns, no performance notes, no tryout criteria, no rubrics, no staff review documentation, no communication ever provided to Aiden prior to cutting him from basketball. The only paper given to him was a cut form handed to him the moment he was cut, a form that did not exist before that day, that was never used historically in Tecumseh. That is not documentation, that is after the fact justification. I was also told players are evaluated every day when they're on the court. If that is true, then again, where are those records? Verbal explanation alone is not policy compliance. This process broke with every historical pattern in Tecumseh basketball. This is the first season in which 2 players were removed despite years of extremely low roster numbers and seasons where the program struggled to just fill the roster and play these kids. Seniors have never been cut. No cut paperwork has ever been used, yet suddenly the only senior and a sophomore were removed, and the same year concerns had been raised with the administration, which I had reached out to Dr. Redmond earlier in the year. Earlier this year, I raised serious issues regarding Aiden's treatment and a separate incident. Following that, his treatment by the coach changed noticeably. The timing alone raises legitimate concern. Retaliation is not an administrative matter. Documentation failure is not an administrative matter. Deviating from established practice and district policy is not an administrative matter. These are governance issues, and governance is a responsibility for you each as the board members. You were elected to ensure policies are followed, to oversee administration, and to protect students when processes break down. If there is a body of evidence supporting this decision, show it. If evaluations exist, show them. If legitimate concerns existed, show them. If nothing exists, then this process cannot be defended. Removing a student's senior year without documentation, without transparency, without adherence to required process is just not fair. It's indefensible. And I will continue pursuing this until the decision regarding my son is corrected. Until my son is given the same opportunity that every senior before him has been given, until the staff members responsible for this breakdown in policy, documentation, and fairness are dealt with appropriately. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have guest speaker, Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. Tonight, we're excited to have Mr. Sean Georges, the Board Vice President of Mission First. He's going to share with us this evening some great work that they're doing up in the Elberfeld area. Mr. Georges, welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Again, I am Sean Georges, Vice President of the Board of an organization that you probably haven't heard a lot about called Mission First. Largely, I think 90% of the board members are military veterans from this area. And about 3 years ago, we were challenged by a local community member to go beyond merely, although appreciated, a thank you for your service. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, left the Marine Corps as a major, and certainly proud to serve, but I, like all of us, every military member, whether your conflict was Vietnam or something much more recent, the transition back to the civilian community is a challenging one. We aren't proposing anymore, we're doing it. So I'm here to ask for your help, community's assistance, and also just to raise awareness. But I've got a brief video, if we can cue that up, that I think you will appreciate. Do I need to hit?
No, just 1 second. We'll
Okay,
get there.
roger that. Bring in the expert. Thank you.
My name's Paul Lindbergh. I'm a Marine Raider with the United States Marine Corps. I served 10 tours overseas,
Can we
including
increase the
Iraq,
volume? Sorry.
Afghanistan, Philippines, various parts of Africa and Europe. The first time I deployed as a
I'm gonna start over. Boy, I heard that many times over the years. Start over.
My name's Paul Lindbergh. I'm a Marine Raider with the United States Marine Corps. I served 10 tours overseas,
Sorry.
That's all right.
including Iraq,
It's coming out of the
Afghanistan,
speaker system.
Philippines, various
Let me see
parts
if
of
I can-
Africa and Europe.
That's fine.
The first time I deployed as a father, it was completely different. I remember sitting there and we were getting ready to go out and do an operation, and it was the first time I really kind of analyzed my own mortality. We're always willing and ready and prepared to die for our country, but I never considered really having and needing a reason to live. It was like, man, you got to really, you got somebody that's relying on you to come home.
The military homecomings, when the dad runs out on the football field, or they get off the plane and everybody hugs them and it's great. Everything's great, and then that's when the work starts. Like, it starts for us in that moment, and it's hard. It's hard when they have to transition back with this stranger that you don't know. And it's like you have to date and get married all over again. And then your kids don't know their dad. They don't know who that is.
My son was 5 months old when I left. He wasn't walking now he was walking. And I squatted down to hug him, and he just looked at me and started crying and just walked away. That was like a knife in the heart, you know. It's It's like the one thing you think about what you want to do, and then he did not want anything to do with me. Man, that's the worst. Right after I retired, I kind of had this, fresh start. I'm out of the Marine Corps. This is that kind of, stuff is over. And then within 2 weeks, I had a very good friend of mine commit suicide. And it kind of brought it all back that, you can leave, but it's not gonna leave you. And I've got more friends that have committed suicide than have died in combat. And I've got a lot of friends who've died in combat. You wake up every day and you have these things happening. You're starting on an anger threshold to say it's 1 to 10. You're starting at a 6, but it just feels normal to you. So when the slightest thing happens, you're going from 6 to 10 very fast, where normal people would go, they'd probably bump up to a 4. PTSD is not permanent. You're not broken. You're not damaged. You're not any of these stigmas that are associated with PTSD.
Our outlet has always been the outdoors. It's always been like when we needed a reset, that's been our way to really bond together. And since Mission First has the property, we've gone out there a couple of times, and it's been awesome to see our kids get to fish and trap and see animals. How healing that is for us to be able to do that together.
Having my children and my wife, that's the reason to get up every day, just to see them and be with them. Sorry for all the times that I've not been the best husband or father that I could have been or should have been. My new mission now is every day to make that better and be that dad and that husband that you all deserve. And that is a powerful driving momentum in me.
Wow. Every time I see that, it just get goosebumps. Those are not actors. They're local human beings that live in our community. Paul Lindbergh is from Evansville, Indiana. Alex is from Indiana, or from Evansville. Those are their children. The fish was not an actor. That actually happened while they were filming. The property you saw is off of Dittany Hill Road in northern Warwick County. We have 93 acres and a 6-acre lake. And the dream was this: what if, for the first time in this country, a community organized its resources, not just its heart, but also resources, in order to establish a new way. Really, it's the old way. It's the only way. And no veteran is asking for a handout when they return from, whether it was combat or a long career or a brief time in the military. But the experience of being in the military, being away from home, and I was away for a total of 17 years, you can come back, you still know who your friends and your family are, but you're in a different you're in a different place than they are. And the whole rejoining as the ride goes around, getting back on the ride and finding, okay, how do I fit in? What do they wear out here? I had to Google an outfit. We didn't used to have Google, but what should I wear? So I looked to my wife for advice and guidance. We are a little bit out of sorts. It's a heavy socialization experience that happens in the military. What if there was a community that had both the heart and resources in order to assist military veterans, not just the veterans? You heard Alex's point. This is a stranger that comes back to her every time. How, is he broken? Where's he at? Where are we at in our relationship? Children at different levels. There's dad suddenly. How does the mother-father dynamic work? In the 4-county area, surrounding us. There are 16,000 military veterans. There are 197,000 south of I-70 in just Indiana. So we're not even talking about what's happening in Kentucky and Illinois. So here's what we're gonna do, and this is the right community to do it with. We've got 93 acres in northern Warwick County. We've got a lake. We are now building, in fact, it's under roof. The first main, what we call activity center, is already built. Has to be finished. There will be a main cabin for programming. There will be cabins for overnight stay, four to six people. 5 of those cabins. We're building a horse equine therapy place. Equine therapy has been proven to work with military veterans, really with all human beings. And we're using local resources to serve as a hub. We don't have all the answers. Here's why no one else in America has done this, I think. 1, a question of resources. 2 is this, because it is hard. So what do you do when something is hard? Man, you try to build a community around the problem, identify the problem, and then you get the smart people. It's gonna take all of us, educators, administrators. We're gonna need healthcare professionals. All of these folks and military veterans, peer to peer. One of the things that happens when you leave the military is that not only does your mission change, you lose your mission. The other thing is you lose your tribe. This is an opportunity to get the tribe back, to tell the stories that you can't really tell anybody else, tell the jokes that nobody else really gets, and to rebuild a new way of moving forward. Again, not just for the veterans, but also for their spouses. We're going to be doing programming that is specifically related to that husband-wife relationship. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff around parenting. One of the things we've learned from Youth First, for example, is, and no one really ever looked at this, the highest by percentage number of students that are having issues, again, by percentage, are military veterans' children. Now, why that is, don't know, we're gonna find out. Why don't we just leave this to the government? Here's why. The government is really good at equipping and recruiting and training and sending us to foreign shores, right? Government, we're the best in the world at all of those things. No one brings us back effectively. You look at some the communities that have been healthiest in the history of mankind, and they've always had this strong community, sort of an effort of bringing their warriors back, not coddling them, but just bringing them in and helping them to re-engage. You know, finding employment. What do I have to offer an employer? Help employers figure out, what does this person represent? What skill set do they bring? How can they fit when you can't put find the right square on an org chart? There has got to be a way, this is the only way, the authentic way to bring military and their family back. We are going to figure it out, again, through a community-wide effort. We received an incredible grant from the Eli Lilly Foundation, community, the local organization that sort of puts all this together, assisted us in obtaining almost a $9 million grant from Eli Lilly, which has basically helped us to put up the buildings, but now comes the hard part. What are you gonna do in those buildings? What are you gonna do on those 90 acres? We're putting the programming together now. Stand by for partnerships being built, stand by for questions, stand by for us asking, what are you seeing in your world? So super excited. I'm so happy being from Gibson County that it's happening here in southern Indiana, and we're gonna do this right. Programming starts in this coming year. The buildings, all of the buildings will be up by 2027, and this is gonna be something this community and we all can be proud of. happy to take any questions if you have any, or comments. My time is probably up.
Is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
for all military
Yes.
veterans or just Hoosiers?
Oh, good question. Initially, okay, here's one thing we learned in the military: crawl, then walk, and then run. We're gonna start off with this 4-county area: Gibson, Vanderburgh, Warwick, and Posey. It's gonna be our core, crawl. We're gonna crawl through, and again, that's 16,000 military veterans. Gonna be opportunities for local employers to help volunteer out at the center. And, but yeah, those are the ones we're gonna reach out to initially. Once we refine the programming, we get staffing in place. Paul Lindbergh is our first and only paid employee, the one that you saw, Special Forces Marine. So it's a good, pretty easy, we felt pretty comfortable giving Paul the opportunity to help lead. But yeah, we're gonna start there and then branch out.
Okay.
So, super excited. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me some time. Appreciate it.
I have a question. Is there any volunteer work that can be
Oh.
done to help?
Stand by. There's gonna be a lot of it. And we have, by the way, the Sanctuary on the Hill is the name of the site. We have a Facebook site. We also have just kind of a
That'll
standard.
be
So
on.
you'll have all of that information. So, yeah, it's gonna be a community-wide effort and community-wide opportunities. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
tonight.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a presentation by Dr. Redman.
Don't get me too dark, Mr. Mosby, or I won't be able to see my writing. Good evening. First of all, thanks for giving us some time tonight to give you an update on our strategic plan. So as you know, earlier in the year, right before school started, I believe, we adopted our strategic plan for the 25 through 2027 school years. So now that we're one semester in, just wanted to have an opportunity to talk with everyone about where we are with our progress toward our action steps. So I'm not going to go through the entire plan again, but I am going to take it pillar by pillar, and you'll be able to see the action steps that are listed. And then I'm just going to talk through a little bit with you a few of the things that we've done so far as we've been making our way toward trying to meet those goals by the end of the 2-year time frame. Now remember, when we have our summer retreat, our planning retreat, and we go through this, it normally takes us, like we go in, we really dig in, and it takes like about 2.5 hours to get through this, but I promise we will not do that tonight. I'm going to go as quickly as possible, but being able to give you an opportunity to see the progress. Okay, so first of all, just a reminder what our 4 pillars are. They're listed on the screen for you. This is the work that we live in daily. The district team, the administrators, our teachers, students, and families are living in these 4 areas in this day-to-day work that we approach in Warwick County School Corporation. And the board will remember that in the summer when we go through the progress, I give you a chart that shows not yet started, exploring, in progress, we've met it, or we've exceeded it. So I can tell you for all of the action steps we have so far, which are 15 in total, we are confident that we are in progress in all 15, with a little caveat on 2 of them. They're kind of sitting between exploring and in progress, and I'll point those 2 out to you when we get to that. Okay, so first, the staff empowerment and professional learning. This is all about collective teacher efficacy. We know that when we give teachers time and space to work together, and they can build their teacher collective efficacy, which, as a reminder, is a shared belief that when we work together and we approach a task together, that we are able to overcome obstacles and barriers to achieve a goal. So there's strong research that shows that when teachers have collective teacher efficacy, it has a very high impact on student achievement. So that is really what all of these action steps are under this pillar for staff empowerment and learning. Some of the specific things that have happened so far in this semester, if you remember, we've talked a lot the last several years about creating that time and space for teachers and groups of staff to be able to meet. But one of the areas that we wanted to focus on was increased collaboration in various content areas that maybe hadn't had the opportunity to meet before. At least meet in an organized way from the district level. So some of those groups that we have allowed this time have had the opportunity with the Department of Learning. They have done what they've called road shows. So they've gone and met with groups of teachers about our checkpoint data and Edmentum, which is a software program that we use. Our elementary music teachers have had time together. Middle school, you're going to hear middle school a lot tonight. We're really focusing on some things going on at that level. They've had opportunities across the district to work together to create common formative assessments. So that's been excellent work that's coming out of the DOL. Additionally, we have added our middle school counselors the opportunity to come and attend quarterly counselor meetings, especially with the new diploma coming. There are some things that will affect the middle schools. So we're really trying to set up the middle schools for success and understanding of the new diploma as well. And then our district E&L team. So typically in any given school, there may be 0 instructors because there isn't need, or there could be just 1 instructor in a building. So it's really important for that group to have some time together and to collaborate and work together as well. And then as far as looking forward, we are looking at the possibility of trying to do some alignment work with our technology field. So you guys hear all the time all the great things that we have going on at WPCC. We would like to really work with our high school technology and CTE courses and try to better align that and give those folks some time together in a collaborative way, hopefully on the PD day, but if not, we'll try to make that work another day. And then in terms of leadership, as you know, we have our teacher leadership academies. We have our aspiring admin. This year, we are in the rotation for teacher leadership academy. Erin Stallings has 21 participants in that this year. So we love that we continue to have teachers who want to grow and get better. And then we meet with our assistant principals. We spent some time with them last week. You guys remember because you were there at the conference in Indianapolis. We had the speaker who talked about who's in your front row and how you know who those people are and how to approach leadership. So we did some work around that, and then we also did some things with the new accountability model, which we'll bring to you another time because that will be a full presentation all by itself, and some other things with the diploma. A next step for that area, something that we would like to try to get going, has to do with some leadership work with some of our non-cert groups. So that's on my radar to try to step into that second semester yet this year. And then finally in this area, increasing opportunities for staff feedback models and to capture input and voice. In addition to all the things that you know we already do, I just wanted to highlight something out of the special ed department. Mrs. Wagner and her team have organized a round table, and they meet 2 times a year. It involves 1 representative from each of our schools, along with a school psych and a speech representative, and of course the district leadership team and the facilitators, Linda and Leanne and Sam. So that's a great way for them to, she sends out a Q&A ahead of time, so the participants can put things on the agenda, the leadership team can, and then they do a lot of work that you guys have done with us before too, where they're assessing, tackling problems and assessing things that we do really well, things that we don't do as well, and then how to bridge any gaps that we may have. Okay, student safety and support. The 2 areas I really want to focus on here are the number 2, connectedness, and number 3, the safety drills. So we know for number 1 and 4 that you can see, you know that we've hired Mindy Martin a couple of years back. She continues to do some great work in trying to define the roles of all of the different staff that we have, counselors, homeschool advisors, mental health professionals, and what that looks like and who sees which student. So her team's doing a great job of getting all of that on paper. And then Mr. Trone, under number 4, the parental awareness of how to monitor technology. You'll hear me reference a couple of times. We've met with Mr. Trone. He has a whole list of videos that we would like to see developed. And then our plan is to put those under a parent hub. And so in this case, it's talking about technology, but later in the plan, you'll see some other things that we've heard from parents that would be beneficial to them. As another example, for elementary, sometimes the parents don't know how to get their students logged into Google Classroom, so it could be something easy like that, how to access Parent View, how to report a safety concern, and all of those things. So more to come in that area. Okay, I did want to share the results of the connectedness survey. So in case you can't see that, there were 5 simple questions. Of course, we're relying on the students to answer honestly, so there's always potentially limitations in that. You'll notice if you move from left to right, the first question is simply, I'm involved with something at school, a club, a team, something. And district-wide, we had 78% of our students who are involved with something, and we're actually quite pleased with that number. The next column shows students who indicated they are part of a group outside of school. The area that we really wanted to focus on this first round are the last 3 columns. I have at least one trusted adult in the building, so we always say that's so important for our students to know who is an adult in the building that they can go speak with. Same for their parents. And then the next column says I am friends with at least one student at school, and then I know how to report a safety concern. So you can see we had 93%, 98%, and 95% on those. What we've done then is we took for those 3 areas, making sure they have a connected adult, a friend, or someone at school, and how to report a safety concern. And we took the data, and any student who said no to one of those 3 things, the building level principals obviously can see the data. So they're working at the building level to identify the kids who answered no to any one of these things, and then making sure we get to reach out to them depending on what they said no to, so that we can try to get them connected with an adult, another peer, and of course, obviously understanding how to report a safety concern. And then what we'll do for that group at the end of the year, we will resurvey, and hopefully those students who said no to one of these 3 items will have someone by the end of the school year.
Excuse me, was that just high school?
Yes, so this year, great question. This year we just started with high school. We did have at least one elementary school who gave the survey because it was connected directly to that school improvement plan. And then next year, our plan is to push it out to middle and elementary as well. So we just started with high school for this year. Good question. Okay, the second part of that has to do with safety drills. I don't know if you guys recall, we had a discussion a while back that in our student group, the students were reporting that, they know what to do during a fire drill during homeroom because that's when they always have the drills during homeroom. So we just put together a scattergram. So it's always, our schools, by the way, always have to report all of their emergency drills. So Dr. Lambert put this in the data in a scattergram. So you can see by school, you can see every little dot means the different times of day. So some of the schools have done a really nice job of scattering throughout the day with the drills they've had so far. Some of them are a little concentrated to one time of the day or the other, but clearly you can see they are working through various times of the day rather than just a homeroom period. And before we move on, not directly related to an action step, but just also under the umbrella of safety, our high school, a letter to our high schools along with our videos for our new Open Gate system will go out Monday after Thanksgiving break. And also included in that letter will be 3 opportunities for families to come to safety meetings where we will just do a broad overview of some things that we're doing, making sure parents understand how to report concerns, talking about our safety protocols, and then we'll also have a demonstration with the Open Gate system as well. So those dates will be listed in that communication, and they will be in January. We will have 1 at each of the high schools, so 3 opportunities, and parents can come to any of them no matter where their children attend school. So look forward to those dates as well. Okay, any questions so far? 2 down, 2 to go.
How's that information going out to parents?
We will send it directly to every Warwick County School Corporation high school family.
Okay.
Yes.
Email.
We will do email. Walt, do you think we can do a Parent Square if we need to? So sometimes in Parent Square, we can like send the text message, check your email for information. We'll do both of those. Yes? Okay. Additional questions? Okay. Gonna move on. Okay, student growth and success. These are all the letters that we talk about all the time, MTSS, CTE, all the alphabet soup that we have. So in student growth and success, we've already done a lot of work streamlining the elementary MTSS process. So if you remember, we had this in our last strategic plan directed specifically toward elementary. In this plan, we're expanding and getting some foundational work set in place for our middle schools. And then one of the things that we know before the end of this 2-year round, once we get middle school foundation set, we are going to need to really figure out how we're tracking this through the system, how we're handing off data when students go from 5th grade to 6th grade or 8th grade to 9th grade. Okay, so that's something we know we still need to work on. The second one, the transitions from 5th to 6th and 8th to 9th, speaking of transitions, this is one of those areas where I would rate us right now exploratory, in progress, kind of hovering. And that's simply because we have different parts of the districts right now making some progress toward transitions, whether it's in the academic area, the behavior area, or the social emotional learning area. But we're not streamlined across the district. So as an example, the Boonville feeder system, they're doing some great work with some social opportunities and some connected opportunities for the elementary students with the high schools. So as an example, Chandler Elementary in January, they're going to have their like parade walk where all the students who have met their growth goals get to walk through the halls, and it's a big celebration of their academic growth. So Boonville, I think they call themselves the Pioneer Squad. They are going to be there cheering on the students, and that's just making a connection for those students while they're still in elementary school, looking forward to potentially being a Boonville Pioneer. Another example, in our Newburgh district, we have an assistant principal who is, his actual leadership growth goal has to do with doing some academic alignment between the two schools he serves, Sharon Elementary and Newburgh Elementary, and then aligning that work to Castle South Middle School 6th grade. And that would be focusing in the academic area. So we have several different great things going on. Those are just 2 examples. So lots more to come in that area, and that's a big goal, big action step that has lots of little steps under it. And then finally, CTE. We have, as you know, we're adding 2 additional CTE pathways next school year at the Pathway Center. We will have early childhood and computer science, and we're doing a lot of other great work toward the new diploma, which we can bring that in a separate presentation about the diploma once the accountability model gets settled. But we're doing some great preparatory work both at WPCC and within the buildings to increase those opportunities for students, increasing AP, CTE, Indiana College Core, which is a set of coursework that will translate to college credits. So lots of good stuff there. And then finally, on this section in number 4, this has to do with our early childhood opportunities. This is another one that I would say we are both exploring and in progress. We are still continuing to explore funding opportunities. We've met with a local hospital. We've written for a large grant. We're trying to find ways to fund PK. And then also we are trying to figure out within our existing buildings and potentially other options for being able to just expand the classrooms so we can offer a more universal PK, even if that means charging families who, of course, would volunteer whether they want to bring their kids to Warwick County PK or not. So still a lot of work in that area as well. But I do feel like we're making progress. It's just going a little slower than I had hoped for.
Dr. Redmond, got a quick question on that before we move on, kind of random question. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea, take a stab at the number of PK kids that might, if we had a program and we had all the funding, what's that number of kids?
That's a great question. I don't have a number off the top of my head. You know, we know that we have extensive PK opportunities already in all parts of our district through private PK. We're hearing kind of mixed things from those groups, that some of them have wait lists, some of them don't have wait lists, some of them have had families reach out to them who would like a PK opportunity but have some sort of barrier. So we do believe, though, that if we were able to expand, you know, in say a year or two to open it, you know, I mean, we could look at, you know, 150, 200, 250
Okay,
students.
I
Yes.
had no idea of the range, so,
And that would just be in one part of the district.
gotcha, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and finally, our last section, it falls under family communication and support. So one of the things in coordinating with mental health partners to provide parents opportunities with Parent Series, we've had one of those so far this year. That was Parenting in a Digital World. We know that we're going to try to have at least one more, but maybe two more. We're looking at the topics of Mental Health 101, and then also the difference between stress and distress. Another area that I wanted to point out falls under number 3, which is increasing awareness among the student body of who the mental health professionals and counselors are. So again, as you know, we have expanded and hired several additional social workers over these last few years, and we have a lot of staff that we were uncertain if our students and families understood who they were, how to get to them, and what that looks like, or what the difference is between reaching out to a guidance counselor versus a social worker. So we really, what we asked all of the principals to do, and I asked for them to do this by fall break, and I can report to you that all 18 schools have reported to me how they disseminated this information. Some of them did it through their welcome back to school nights, teacher nights. Some of them have sent videos, some of them have sent flyers. I have a few examples of that here for you tonight. So this is what I love about this one, this is a flyer that Sharon Elementary created, and obviously it would be a trifold, so you can see the front and the back here. But it explains and tells you who the appropriate staff members are. It tells you what their role is, what they provide, how they can support parents, things they do in the classroom, how you can seek out a social worker, and it spells it out. So this is a great example at the elementary level. I linked in some other examples for you that you guys can look at later, but did want to point out here just a few other middle school examples. I love on the right the counselor request form for Boonville Middle. Several of our middles and highs are doing this. So students can access from their Chromebook at any time during the day, and they're doing it privately, obviously. They're not having to leave class. They're not having to have that fear of asking to leave class, to go to the office, to ask who do I even see, how do I get to these people. They literally can just fill out this form. It goes straight to the guidance counselors. The guidance counselors get an alert, and then you can see here that the students actually also from a drop-down box can choose the urgency of the matter, and then the counselors and social workers can decide who is best fit to address the issue with the student, and then they just call them right down. So that's a great way to handle that. Several of the middles and highs are doing that, so that was great. Here's Castle High School. Again, guidance counselors, they explain there at the bottom, the role of the guidance counselors, different from the role of the social workers. This went out in at the beginning of the year meeting. They also recorded that meeting. I mentioned the Parent Hub at the beginning, or at some point, I don't believe it was at the beginning, but I mentioned the Parent Hub. So complicating that just a little is that our website company has been bought out by another company. So we are in the transition of that, unfortunately, here mid-year. So once we get through that transition, I mentioned Jeff Trone is working on all these videos, then we'll be able to create that Parent Hub and put all those videos in the Parent Hub. We didn't want to put all that work in there and then risk or be worried that it wasn't going to roll over. And obviously, it will take a little bit to get several videos finished, but we're on our way. So what can I answer for you at this point?
You mentioned it a couple times about working with middle school counselors and other aspects for the new diploma. CTE and everything. I wonder when we might be able to put that on our own work session or something, or an update when you have it packaged up.
That's a great question, and we would like to do that. Okay, even though the diploma requirements are final, there's some things that are being proposed in the new accountability model that will not be final until December, that might change how we approach the diploma, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some language in the accountability model that has to do with taking coursework in middle school, and we need to see where that lands. And then we will know what courses or how many courses we're gonna have to pull down to middle, which will affect what we do in high school. So as soon as we get accountability model finalized in December, we should be able to bring back some info to you early next semester.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
All right. I just want to show you this picture, but I can talk about it while I'm walking back. So this is unrelated to the strategic plan, but I did just want to do a couple shout outs. On the left photo, that is a team from Sharon Elementary. Gary Karen is a behavior consultant. Carrie Oberst is a speech language pathologist. Mrs. Burgenschmidt in the middle is the building principal. And then on the right, we have Ashley Turner, who is a classroom teacher, and Linda Kincaid, who is an OT for us. They are a multidisciplinary team who works with our ABS classroom, which is a classroom for students with autism at Sharon Elementary. And they actually presented this past week at the Assistant Principals Conference. I think it was Thursday. And then this week, today and tomorrow, is the Principals State Level Conference. And they're presenting a breakout session tomorrow for principals. So that's pretty cool. I love when people across the state want to learn and see about things that we're doing down here in Warwick. So I wanted to share that. And then the picture on the right, of course, that's Mr. Raber, principal at Linville Elementary, and that's his wife, Jennifer. Jean actually was the recipient of the District 11 Elementary Principal of the Year. So they had a banquet, I guess that would have been last night up in Indianapolis. And so he and his wife got to attend, and they were honored for that. And just want to congratulate Mr. Raber.
That's excellent.
Great.
That is great. Well, thank you, Dr. Redmond. It was wonderful information. Thank you. Moving on to agenda items 8, consideration of items for board action. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, let's start with routine business first.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. The routine business this evening includes approving the minutes of the school board meeting held on November 11th and approving the claims and signing the docket. I recommend the board approve the routine items as presented.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Mosby, seconded by Mr. France. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Now on to consideration of items for board action. 8.1, second reading of proposed changes to policy 1350. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. Dr. Walter Lambert has presented to the board an updated policy 1350, procedure to address the Board of School Trustees. This policy includes minor revisions to its existing language. The first reading of the proposed change was on November 11, 2025. The second reading will take place this evening, at which time the board may choose to take action. And if you recall, we don't need to read the entire policy again. It simply is changing the do not exceed time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes. That is the only change to the policy. So I recommend the board approve the updated policy as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Baker and seconded by Mr. Skinner to revise policy 1350 as noted. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item 8.2, approved placement agreement with Western Governors University. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. Dr. Doug Gresham has brought to the board a placement agreement between the Warwick County School Corporation and Western Governors University for consideration and approval. This agreement outlines the terms under which WCSC will provide candidates as a clinical experience with mentor teachers that align with the candidate's licensure area. This agreement has been reviewed by Mr. Cliff Whitehead's office. I recommend the board approve the agreement as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is that you, Mr. Franz? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Mosby, seconded by Mr. Franz to approve the agreement with Western Governors University. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item 8.3, approve a non-exclusive clinical affiliation agreement. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. WPCC Principal, Mr. Drew Girth, has brought to the board a non-exclusive clinical affiliation agreement with Hamilton Point for consideration and approval. This agreement states they will provide qualified professionals and make its facilities available to Warwick County School Corporation's faculty members and students for practical learning and clinical experiences. I recommend the board approve the agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Mrs. Wilhelmus and seconded by Mr. Baker to approve the affiliation agreement with Hamilton Point. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item 8.4, approved donations. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. We have several donations tonight, again, just showing how well supported all of our schools are. At Oakdale Elementary, a $5,000 donation from Prime Foods to be used for student needs. Also at Oakdale, a $500 donation from the Warwick Public Education Foundation to be used to fund the Reading Revolution. At Boonville High School, a $1,000 donation from the Keep Swimming Noah James Family Fund for the Boonville High School swimming and diving team. Funds will be used to purchase shirts for athletes, meals for away meets, and equipment for practices and meets. Also at Boonville High, a $500 donation from the Sugar Shack, Sam and Heather Schnurr, to be used for student field trips. At Castle High School, a $3,500 donation from Bertram Chiropractic, to be used to purchase a mascot for the Pep Club. At Tecumseh High, a $500 donation from Old Friendship General Baptist Church to be used to purchase items needed in the nurse's office. And also at Tecumseh, another $1,000 donation from Old Friendship General Baptist Church to be used to purchase items for the Angel Tree giveaway. I recommend the board approve all donations as presented.
Motion to approve donations.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Franz and seconded by Mrs. Wilhelmus to approve donations. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next agenda item, consideration of personnel recommendations. Dr. Gresham.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. The Human Resource Office has the following business to bring before the board tonight. Agenda item 9.1, consideration of employment, certified staff. Christy France, an early childhood education teacher at WPCC for the 2026-2027 school year. Miranda Towery, a temporary social studies teacher at Boonville Middle School for the second semester of this year. And Jessica Thompson, a temporary preschool teacher, AM only at Logue Elementary School for the second semester this year. And the following non-certified staff: Alyssa Mackey, APS Program Assistant at Sharon Elementary School. Tamara Pacheco, 4.5-hour cafeteria position at Castle High School. Grace Etheridge, Program Assistant at Newburgh Elementary School. And LaDonna Kelly, Program Assistant at Logue Elementary School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Wilhelmus, seconded by Mr. Mosby to approve certified, non-certified staff. Do you have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Agenda item 9.2, leaves. Megan Millard, library aide at Newburgh Elementary School. Huey Liu, 6.5-hour cafeteria position at Castle High School. Beth Ferrand, language arts and publications teacher at Boonville Middle School. Alicia Zoss, program assistant at Sharon Elementary School. Jaylee Hadley, clerical aide at Oakdale Elementary School. Jamie Rorschad, secretary treasurer at Oakdale Elementary School. Miranda Towery, program assistant at Boonville Middle School. Raylam Pullum, nurse at Boonville High School. Ashlyn Wingy, 6.5-hour cafeteria position at John H. Castle Elementary School. And Melissa Schmidt, program assistant at Oakdale Elementary School.
Motion to approve leaves.
Second. And the motion by Mr. Agner,
I'm Jordan Eigner.
thank you,
Nice to meet you.
seconded by Mr. Baker. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 9.3, resignations. Barbara Gerard, 3.5-hour cafeteria position at Oakdale Elementary School. Resignation effective December 19th, 2025. Dean Ewan, varsity boys soccer coach at Boonville High School. Resignation effective November 11th, 2025. Carissa Van Hoos, science teacher at Boonville High School. Resignation effective June 1st, 2026. Kendra Murphy, program assistant at Logue Elementary School. Resignation effective November 19th, 2025. Amy Hornby, 6.0-hour cafeteria position at Tecumseh High School. Resignation effective December 19th, 2025. And 9.4 retirements. Patrick Cruz, social studies teacher at Castle High School. Retirement effective December 19th, 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Gresham. Okay, do we have any other reports, Dr. Renyon?
Dr. Gresham, did you have a report this evening? Okay, I thought you had something. Yes, just one.
Okay.
The Personnel, Food, and Nutrition and Custodial Committee met on November 11th, 2025 in this building and had two main items of discussion. The first was the social worker pay scale, which you've already seen and was approved at the last meeting, but it finally established a solid pay scale that we can use for social workers, which is something that we've needed for a couple of years. Mr. Armstrong and myself have been working on it, and now we think we have a really good plan in place. And so far, we've received positive feedback on that. And the other item of business had to do with transfers versus reassignments. And it occurred to me at the last board meeting, when I was reading a very long list of what had been reported as transfers, that many of those weren't transfers. We actually have some definitions in our teacher transfer policy that designate a transfer is when an employee moves from one building to another building. But when a person changes positions inside the same building, it's a reassignment. However, we had been coming to the board frequently with cafeteria reports of someone who is going from a 3-hour position to a 4.5-hour position, or a 4-hour position to a 6.5-hour position, but staying within the same building. So after the last board meeting, or maybe it was 2 board meetings ago, I went to the payroll department to find out if there was a reason that those had to be reported to the board because they were changing hours, even though they weren't transfers. They were technically reassignments. And they said, in their mind, they had no idea why we did it, because we use time clock to measure all their times. The times don't actually have to be reported to the board. So moving forward, we will report transfers as we should, per the definition of the teacher transfer policy, and won't be reporting as many reassignments as we've been doing in the past. So just for your information, might be a little bit less on the transfers than what we've had in the past.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Gresham.
Do we have any other board business?
We have a student learning and growth meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the admin building. And then our next policy will be December 8th at 5:45 here in this building. That's all I have.
December 15th at 5 PM in this building, the Personnel Committee will be meeting. And then on the following morning, on December 16th, Construction Committee will be meeting at the Administration Building at 7:30 AM.
We have a work session on December 15th at 5:30, and then followed by regular board meeting at 7. And just for the public to know, we only have one board meeting in December, so it's on the off week. It will be December 15th.
Thanks, Sean, again for coming in and giving a presentation today.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the work you guys are doing out there. It's exciting.
Any other business? I just want to wish everyone happy holidays, a wonderful Thanksgiving experience with family and friends, and just be safe and no kitchen accidents.
That's right.
And with
Careful
that,
frying those turkeys.
that's right. Meeting adjourned.